Hi, welcome back to Finally Revealed. In this episode, I want to talk about the societal realization and convergence that we are all experiencing on some level, which seems to be accelerating and reaching a type of critical mass in some areas. And I think it's going to spread. I have to be careful about what I say on YouTube because there has been increased censorship on some keywords in connection with the illness that has been spreading and the quarantine and other things that are going on that are not typically, at least so far, being reported in the traditional or mainstream media. And some people refer to this period of time as an awakening. So, which is what I'm talking about, but in convergence, a moving toward a union or a uniformity, a coming together. And I really believe that the people in the world are coming together. Some have come out a little bit in advance. I am a person who was set of this in a little bit in advance with the opportunity to help other people. That's what I've been trying to do with this channel by providing information, and I'm going to be doing some new playlists along these lines to provide some help. I have another video coming out with this one a couple of hours after this one that will go into some other information and to provide some help for people that might already be experiencing some shakiness or uncertainty or challenges to beliefs or challenges to their experience that might help them. So we have the convergence, which is the coming together and becoming one. We're realizing that we are one people, regardless of politics, regardless of different countries. We are all one people as humanity on the earth. And we have more in common than we have differences. Then we have the realization of how we have been living and what our baseline understanding is for the structure of our society and the people in our society and the people in power and the people in industry and the people in government and people that are in the media and people that maybe are our celebrities or people that we look up to in different areas and all through the different layers of our society and where we live. And we are realizing that things and people are not always as we were taught, maybe even going to our schoolwork. I have a new series coming out about Native Americans, and the teachings that we have received, that I received growing up, were not factually correct, and I'm going through that information on a separate playlist. I will have additional playlists on additional factors as we go through this, but as a whole, I think people are coming in to make certain realizations, and based upon examination, not always through the normal channels that they have been taught to receive information from, but through other means, social media and the like. And the more information that comes in from different areas, the more awake we're becoming and the more conscious we are as far as realization. We're in a very unique situation with this pause, this big intermission. The Great Intermission is what it should be called when we look back in history, as a time when we have the opportunity to evaluate things, and we're not in the hustle and bustle of our routines. We're not wound up all the time rushing from here to there on our schedule. We have time to think. We've had some time to decompress. We've had some time to process certain fears about illness. Some people are still there, and hopefully we can help lift them up. And part of that is what people are going to come out to realize was or was not as was represented to them, and what they internalized as a belief and a fear. And people get angry when they realize I was afraid of something that maybe I shouldn't have been afraid of, and who was it that brought that to me and caused me to, bring that in so that then I reacted in a fearful way. And we're all going to be examining ourselves, where we get information, how we process that information, how we assign true or false to it. Is it a gray area or is it black and white? And who is it that has been feeding us lies, and who is it that has been feeding us the truth? Or if we had to go and find it on our own and then we're blocked for it or censored for it, why was that? So I realized that people watching this, and if you share this with different people, people are coming at this realization and this convergence and coming together from various different places. Now, before I get to the subject matter, they're coming together because they're seeing posts on social media. They're seeing things from Twitter versus Facebook or Instagram. And I've noticed that each of those has a different flavor. Maybe they're watching TikTok all the time and they're just grooving. So good for them. And maybe that's where we should all head over to. Or maybe they're still on Snapchat and they're enamored with how they look on all the filters. But where there is actual information being exchanged in different ways, you can see that the different platforms kind of have a different flavor. And if you expand who you follow, or back up a little bit and look around, or notice that some of the people that you were following and maybe some of those people that you kind of looked up to as a celebrity, you're seeing they're doing things in a little bit different way, or people are questioning their reactions or what they're saying. And it just causes you to say, huh, and question. Some people are coming to this through videos that are being shared. Maybe you saw Out of Shadows, and that's what made you start to look at things differently. Maybe you've just seen inconsistent stories, or you heard something and that made you go on a search and to look at different things and to kind of evaluate, is there something more to this? Should I know something different? Why is this person saying this to me? Why is this person making this post? What is that all about? And you're curious and you have time, so you can go down the rabbit hole a little bit and you can start looking around for things. Recently, Google was somewhat unlocked, and some past political things are now able to be looked at that maybe were not accessible. On the other hand, we now have some blockage. Facebook doesn't show all the links if they're shared. And Twitter has been adjusting, anecdotally, I've heard that Twitter has been adjusting follower counts and changing what the statistics look like as far as the popularity of a post. So when you see something, you might say, oh, 20 people liked this or 20 people shared this, when maybe the numbers are a lot bigger. And think about how that impacts you as you're sitting in your house and you can reach out to people with your phone or online, but you're not in a group right now able to actually share information. Through Zoom we are, thank goodness for Zoom, but in a bigger group or at a party, or just to hear things the way that you might traditionally hear them. So in one way that's not great, because we're getting information a little bit different and more direct to us. But when it is direct to you and you then have the time to go and follow that, it's more meaningful because now you're getting to see it directly for yourself and not just hearing things. It's easier to dismiss things in a loud room or when you're dancing or when there's a lot of things going on. And now you're in a situation where this quarantine is enabling us to sit back, examine ourselves, examine other people and circumstances, and I think it's accelerating our ability to reach this convergence and reach critical mass and reach consensus. So here are the different subject matter areas that I am aware of, that I know. Okay, the first one that you might have realized through sharing of videos or other things is that we have 6 major companies that control virtually all the media in the world. And by media, I mean television and movies and print, the historical print newspapers and publications, and radio. With the virus, we have quite a lot of information now about the World Health Organization and the contributions to that organization by governments. The U.S. recently pulled funding from it temporarily pending an investigation as to why it has taken the position that it has, why it has provided certain statistics that appear to be falsified, moving influenza statistics into the COVID-19 area. We have doctors, there's a video, there's doctors who are saying they have been coached to prepare death certificates. There are online stories about people saying that one of their relatives was tested and assigned as a test positive without symptoms and without any apparent basis for that. So those issues. Then additionally with this health situation, we have Bill Gates and all of the contributions that the Gates Foundation has made to all of the pharmaceutical companies and to the World Health Organization, and the stories coming out through Robert F. Kennedy Jr. about the inoculations in Africa and the sterilizations and the deaths and the sickness, and then the microchip issue, and then the Abramovich person on the recent advertisement for Microsoft that was pulled off in a number of days after there were protests, and all of those stories surrounding him, then reaching out to his connections, and then stories about the earthquakes and whether those have been real earthquakes, and the stories about the DUMBs or the tunnels in the United States, the stories about the drug smuggling, the human trafficking, the child trafficking, the child abuse, the CIA informants, the former FBI people and their stories, and the preschools and the mothers and stolen children and torture and worse, and Anthony Weiner and his laptop and the word adrenochrome and the Canadian connection and the connection to the various leaders and the royal families and the aristocratic people and extraterrestrials and Antarctica and the moon, the connections between past American presidents regardless of parties, the lack of action except for Sarah Blakely, who's a self-made billionaire, the lack of any action of any of the extremely wealthy to try to assist in this situation, the government politics over the small business loans, the attempts to isolate and kill the economy, the JFK grandchildren and their YouTube video, and the singing and the memes and the pictures from George H.W. Bush funeral and the reactions by his son and President Clinton and President Obama, the various conspiracy theories or the phrase conspiracy theory and the information on who assigned that phrase and when it was assigned, the 9/11 discussions, the Oklahoma City bombing discussions, the JFK assassination discussions, the attempts on President Reagan. All of these things are reaching out, and leave comments about more if I've left something out. I tried to include all of them, but all of those things are causing people all over the world to sit back and take another look. And by taking another look and sharing information and comparing it to what they're seeing through their traditional channels and making decisions about what is really going on. And the most important thing to me of all of this is asking questions and continuing to ask questions and to share the information that is received. So to me, there's more to this, but for right now, this is quite a lot, and could be enough for right now as a start. But this is all of these different areas. People are coming at it from different areas, and I think that is what's really fueling the convergence, as I will call it, and the societal convergence coming together. And in this way, we are all benefiting from this giant intermission because it is bringing us together, and we're stronger together. So if this was curious to you, helpful to you in any way, or give you something to think about, give me a thumbs up. Leave any comments or questions below. I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just trying to, as I always do, go out and get information and bring it back and add to the conversation and add to the knowledge base and add to our ability to be conscious and aware of what we're doing and where we're living and what we are told. Share this with someone who might benefit. Subscribe to see the other videos and come back and see me next time. Thanks for watching.